Hi, everyone. Today, I'd like you to meet Dominik Lambersy, the co-founder of TextCortex. Hi, Dominik.
Hey Lance, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm so glad that we're on this call today and enjoying this and helping out the franchise companies. Can you explain what TextCortex does? Because it does AI writing, but you guys also are very different, I think.
Yeah, thanks for the brief introduction. Actually, up until the end of last year, we were known as a writing assistant, AI writing assistant, a little bit like Grammarly, but much more capable in doing things. Ever since we released our version of ChatGPT, we call it Zeno Chat, people have started seeing us as a virtual assistant to their work. Yeah, what I am currently building on our narrative around is that we want to build personalized intelligences. Why personalized? Because a lot of solutions you currently see around, they give you pretty generic outputs and results. And with TextCortex, you do not only have a companion with you on over 4,000 websites and platforms, but is also customizable on how you act as an individual or organization, plus also knowing what you know as an individual or organization, and therefore, yeah, ending up in a much more personalized experience for you. Think about your own little AI coworker.
Right. Well, it sounds like you can load up a bunch of stuff that your company has written, so that then when it does create copy, so let's just say blog posts, emails, responses, whatever, it's going to write it through the lens of all the stuff you've written before, so that it writes in your unique voice every time, not a general output, correct?
Yeah, exactly. We did this whole features built around two pillars. Yeah, first of all, customization, how you act, what you give is basically sort of a background. You as a person, where you're coming from. Yeah, what is your history, and for example, the values you are acting after. And what you then can do is also adding a few writing examples, such that our algorithm can map your digital twin, so to say, on over 60 variables. This is one pillar. The second pillar are knowledge connectors, yeah, where you, for example, can connect, upload any type of PDF files, connect your Notion, connect your Google Drive. The knowledge connectors are still in beta for the time being, but will be also released very soon. And then it's just like you said, yeah, basically building upon what you have learned in the past as an individual or organization again. Because if you think about the main disadvantage of many of these large language models, whether it be ChatGPT or any other AI tools, is that they are stuck in the past. They are mostly having information from 2021, from the European continent. Yeah, if you would ask for a famous sports event like the Soccer World Cup here, yeah, who was the winner of the 2022 Soccer World Cup? Most AI tools cannot answer it. So what we have done with Zeno is basically integrating a lot of different knowledge fields, also including search, including in the future your own personalized files, whatever you want to share. Certainly, we try our best to make it as secure as possible as well.
Right. And so as we go through the functionality, we've gone through the personal AI assistant that does writing. We've talked about how ZenoChat, I mean, there is access to GPT, but we have the ZenoChat, which is its own model. And then what are the other functionalities that people should be aware of?
The other functionalities, we have over 200 use cases by now. We have plenty of different users from plenty of different fields. Maybe let's roll up that question a little bit differently and talk about who are our top users. The top users are people from the creative space, oftentimes marketeers or copywriters. That's by far the biggest group. Then we have, we call them corporate professions. Oftentimes, those are sales functions, those are customer support functions, but also management functions, because a lot of people deal with communication, improve their communication with our tools. And the third one is SMEs. And that's a combination of what I've previously said. Yeah, we help them with marketing, with sales, general communication a lot. And then we also have a lot of students, which I don't believe is so important right now for our call here. But yeah, they are getting some help with their homework more or less, so also improve their communication, their writing.
Well, did you want to do a brief demo today, Dominic, or
Ah, I mean, absolutely. I can show people briefly around. Let me just quickly share my screen and find where I already. I think it's this one. Let me check. Yeah, I think that's the right. Can you see my screen now?
I can. Yeah.
Beautiful. So first of all, yeah, what I will show you today is the workings of the Chrome extension. You can see it here in the top right. The Chrome extension is active. You can change it. I mean, I have it changed in English. You can change it in different languages. That's one of the major problems we had recently because we have global impact, many different language speakers, and they want to see it in German, Spanish, French. But let's get down to the use cases. Here, for example, this is a call summary. When I talked with you, for example, in the past or with any type of potential customer, I always note down things in the most uncanny ways with really weird abbreviations, for example, just like quickly shutting it down and trying to just retain knowledge. What I can do now, sorry, that's now being German, basically says press a shortcut for Zeno AI. Why is it German now? Didn't I? Uh-huh. Interesting.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like it there. I've used it, and what I like is as long as you see that you know, pink and blue circular icon there, you know that you can just click on that and access it right away.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, what I show you now first is the Zeno Assist feature, for example. And what I can do now is I can say, hey, please summarize me the above. It works. It says the demo call was with Bento Beatles restaurant chain, owner not tech savvy yet. It makes the whole thing a little bit more understandable.
Hmm.
This is one of the one things. The same thing you can do with our toolbar, for example. It's very easily happening just by highlighting anything and then clicking rewrite, expanding, creative writing, email writing as well. So this toolbar is usually um, our most popular features. Fixed spelling and grammar, completion. For example, I could also, if I now say grammar fix, it should fix that really weird, yeah, look, with the could and my weird abbreviation here, we could bring revenue potential 5x, but it didn't really summarize it. For summarization, we would click this here and we would arrive at a very similar example like we had with Zeno Assist here. What you mentioned with the little bubble, that's our access to, wait, I need to move you a little bit to the, over here. This is where our Zeno Chat comes into effect. Yeah, where we can start say, hey, write me the outline of a blog post on increasing franchise opportunities via follow-up emails. Let's see what it will write. Usually takes around 10 seconds. Here. And in no time, we already have our outline. And then we can start as a human being. Why are you not copying? Did I do some mistake? Yeah. So, and then we can go back into the divide and conquer approach where we can now say, hey, let's expand on each chapter and build it step by step by step. The whole thing works on, yeah, I mentioned someone before, 4,000 different platforms. We have here this content brief, which is part of one of our YouTube sessions, for example, as well, where you can here now also say, hey, we have the local SEO topic here. Please expand on that. Can make it a little bit longer, takes a little while. And it also starts writing here. You see, again, it started creating an outline, basically filling that with a little bit more of life. I click on, oh, the formatting is a little bit broken now. And then you can already go step by step down the whole road. Also working on Gmail, for example. Here's again the Bento Beatles example. In Gmail, I can just say, hey, I take these bullet points as I already have made up my thoughts. Just highlight it, press on the email button, and it basically formulates out an email for you. Maybe we need to have it a little bit longer. That's also when I still do our customer support. A lot of times I just copy paste the original email from our customers into one of our templates. Just drop it in here. I give some directions as I had it here, yeah, with the bento example. Because you always have, if you read an email, you always have these 3, 4, 5 next steps you want to do up on top of your head. You can write them down here, basically let the AI create. I won't create it now because I don't have an original email here. But then I already have my email formulated out. That comes at much higher response time, certainly, but also at less psychological burden. I mean, this is what usually customer support users use Text.Cortex for, exactly this view. And I know it also sometimes you have customers which are plainly not nice, which is a psychological strain for many users, customers as well. This so much about the TextCortex plugin. I don't want to go deep. I just want to show it briefly in the customization suite. You need to go to our web app for that. And then you have here the knowledge connectors, customize your AI. And this is basically where you can start. Yeah, persona name, persona background. I think we talked 2 or 3 times in here. Yeah, where you just type down. Here's the example from my co-founder Jehun. Some values, a description, and then you would enter different types of writing examples. I can show you with my little digital twin how I did it. This is then the result. After analysis, it tells me that I'm a very enthusiastic, motivational, inspirational person. I think I should be as a founder. That reading ease, I really try to sound as easy as possible, such that everybody can understand it. Sentence length medium, active voice. And here you can see the background, background of myself. Here values I like to work after, examples, and then you can basically use this persona right within Zeno Chat.
So you've taken the time to fill out all that information and set it up, and now you're writing in the persona of this AI persona, which is
Yeah.
you.
Look, that's my common pitch. Born and raised on German funfair, selling sausages and fries. Customer service. Yeah, that's my first pocket money in gaming in the early 2010s before NFTs were a thing. And suddenly I have my virtual twin who replies a lot like me, and can give advice. Not fully like me because it doesn't have all the knowledge I have, but that will soon come here as well with our knowledge connectors, where you can integrate all sorts of different things. And before overloading your viewers more, if somebody's interested, we have a lot of blog posts around how you can use our features, videos around them as well, to best educate you.
Yeah, so I think that this custom AI is really a great way to get around the generic responses people would get, but also not only are they generic, but they're not going to really follow along with your core values or anything like that, and your more humanistic, personality-driven writing styles. This is kind of the shortcut or hack for that, is to set up your persona. It would also let people know that the people who are writing stuff for the company, or if you're a marketer that's doing work for a company, you can upload stuff on that specific company in here. And then, oh, today I'm writing for franchise A, so I use this persona. To that, now I'm writing for franchise B, I'll use this persona.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so it helps you produce stuff much better. So, well, this is excellent. One of the things that I like about the usability of this is that you have the browser extension. So wherever you're working, the Zeno Chat can start writing things for you. It's very handy.
Yeah, it's very handy for, for hundred thousands of people who use it actively on 4,000 platforms now. Yeah, and I can see our competitors in there. I can see how people use it in Google Docs. They use it on Outlook, Gmail, even ChatGPT, for example. Yeah, so what our belief and our vision was back in the days was nobody wants another web app, to tap in between all the time. We just want to be next to our user, yeah, right where they need us.
Right. Well, as I think about using and implementing this stuff, because I've always loved copywriting, done copywriting, and this tool when I first found it was just absolutely amazing because it overcomes the whole I don't know where to start. If you just give me a white sheet of paper and say write this, it's like there's too much creativity there. I don't know where to start without having some sort of pre-existing tests or templates or baseline of some kind. I can improve very easily, but improving on nothing is hard. So this is a great way to get started. But to talk about how to talk to it and improve it, I think first of all, it's good to understand what is AI because I think people have some misconceptions or non-understandings on what it is, and you have to know what it is and how it works so that you can talk to it the best and get the best results. So, what is AI? Is it this big computer system that's going to take over the world?
It's a great question. I've also last week I've been part of a finance summit as a keynote speaker for generative AI, and there was similar misconceptions. I mean, AI is nothing so new. Generative AI is now new. What is generative AI basically doing? It tries to create something. Yeah, I like to call it also creative AI because from what it has learned from all the tens of thousands of texts, or in terms of mid journey, tens of millions of pictures it has seen, it can draw and learn patterns, which we usually combine with some sort of textual structure and can recreate on top of it. What happens under the hood is more or less an auto completion. So if you would ask an AI, hey, please write me the blog outline for a blog around the topic, how I can improve my marketing ops for my franchise. Yeah, the AI basically takes this as input and improves. Oh, hello Siri. Talking about AIs, why ever Siri comes up now, and it tries to autocomplete your prompt. That's why it's also so important that, and that's what I've seen with many users 1 or 2 years ago from our product. They talked to Zeno, to TextCortex like it was a machine. But ultimately, what you need to really think about is how you communicate. And I believe this whole thing, the soft skill of communication, will be much more important now in the upcoming future in the collaboration with AI systems. Because in comparison to if we talk with our team, for example, and I tell one of my team members, hey, it would be great if I have a result to topic XYZ in 1 to 2 days. I get a response in 1 to 2 days. With an AI, I have instant feedback. So if I ask it to write an outline for a blog post, I will have a result within 10 seconds. If I don't like the output, maybe it was more or less about me because write a blog outline for a topic X is not very defined. So if I, for example, expand on the prompt, yeah, at hey, the topic is generative AI in the franchise ecosystem. I want to talk about the marketing operations and how to decrease costs, for example, or how can I scale up for more opportunities. If I add some sources, some real-time data, that really helps the AI to understand where you want to arrive at. And these basic instructions are incredibly important, and that's why I say communication as a soft skill will be much more important in our collaborative ways around AI in the future.
Right. So you need to talk to it like you talk to people. And the just like you're having a conversation with another person, that's how you talk to AI. But also, one thing I've learned from talking with you in the past is that AI is creative. It's made to be creative. And so it can go off all over the place because it's just designed to be creative. So the more you give it more information and you type in more stuff or to give it direction, it's going to be more of what you want. So if you just say, write this, and you get a general response, that's because what you're saying is too general. And so it's just going, okay, and it answers it. But if the more precise you get, you'll get it. And that's why you also said that if AI is doing, if you were using AI to do some sort of research, you'd want to just double check it because it's very creative and it can try to autocomplete and not necessarily have autocomplete be 100% accurate with facts.
Yeah,
Correct?
exactly. That's a really good point from our former conversations. Always validate what the AI is creating for you. I mean, 6 months ago, everybody believed what AI has written, which is extremely dangerous. It's just like how you interact with other human beings. Take everything with a grain of salt and do your own critical thinking around it. There are plenty of people who try to sell you something and lie to you. Similar things can also happen with any type of AI generation. So always double check facts. There was another point which I wanted to add to that, but sincerely, it flew out of my mind now. Maybe it comes in a little bit later down the road. But yeah, validation of information is extremely important by an AI model.
And that's kind of the reason why AIs generally have a limited output because you'll you can it can go too far off in the wrong direction if you don't oversee it. And I've always kind of looked at after I started using it, I started looking at AI as more of like a race car, but it needs a really good human driver.
A really
Like
good
it's a
pilot.
workhorse. What's that?
A really good pilot to it, huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Somebody's got to be in control of it. Otherwise, it's not going to have as much value. So if you're not getting the value out of your AI and it's not producing what you want, you just have to learn how to talk to it and you have to learn how to drive it and direct it. And then you have to oversee the output. So it's not necessarily eliminating a lot of humans. What it's doing is it produces way more. So you can get way more output per person.
Yeah, that's what I also said in that speech recently last week. We basically go now from an age from unlimited access to information to an unlimited to the age of unlimited creation. Basically, what happens is that we do not need to think about all these information which comes to us at the moment and then need to produce something. The production is already happening also on the AI level, but still it's our job to validate whether it's right and proper, fitting our use case and generally true. And I also just got my point back, which I just lost a minute ago. One concept which we're also praising to our users is called divide and conquer. It's nothing new. Yeah? With many big problems you have in life, you should divide and conquer them into smaller ones. And we have this beautiful YouTube video as well, where we basically show people through how they can collaborate with AI to create blog posts. If your goal is a 2,000 word blog post, your expectation shouldn't be that the AI is just snapping the finger and you have a 2,000 word blog post in front of you, which is perfectly fitting your case. That's the short-term memory of an AI is not enough to keep that concise and to keep the truthfulness behind it. So what you do, you divide and conquer the problem. For example, instead of 2,000 words, I say, okay, let me first write the outline with Zeno Chat about the blog post. And then for each of the chapters, if we divide the problem into 10 chapters, we suddenly have 200 words per chapter and we have arrived at our 2,000 word blog post. And that's how you should approach it. And this also gives much more time for you to personalize everything, to validate whether the facts are right, and also to put in your own research still. Yeah, because ultimately these contents needs to have some form of originality. And we also with that age of unlimited creation, we've been already living in a flood of information before. There will be even more information now and a lot of more generic information. So it will be even more important to find these few little pieces which still touch a human's heart, more or less. You do that by proper research, by creating proper value for somebody with, yeah, beyond the play thinking, more or less, we would say.
Right. And so if you're going to do something more complex, let's just say you're writing a follow-up sequence for your email autoresponder of following up with customers and you're trying to generate like a 1 month or a 1 year sequence or whatever, you're going to instead of just telling it to create that because you know who knows what would happen by the end. You're going to start with write the framework, write the outline, and then within each component, you're going to look at what needs to happen in that specific unit. So if it's a book, you'd write the premise and everything else, and then you'd maybe write the you'd list out the chapters, and then you start writing the chapters. But if you're doing a follow-up sequence, you might say, what's, how many days is ideal, how many emails is ideal for this amount of time for follow-up, what are the things that we should discuss, and then you pick each one of those and you start writing each one of those, and so you're producing it kind of in that organized way, but not all at once, so it can do a good job.
Yeah, exactly. There's a great customer case study as well we have on the webpage from Faith. She herself has dyslexia and she was struggling with writing such a, I think it was a 3-month long follow-up sequence for anybody who subscribed for a newsletter. She was struggling with that for 7 months. She found our extension, started working around it exactly how you described it. And within 2 hours, she had 9 emails over 3 months. The problem was gone. But this divide and conquer approach is so important, and that's why you still always will need a human, because for this original thought or for the basic validation, you still need some human creativity. While everything else, building the narrative out of your strategy, can be done with an AI, for example, and
Right.
filling a chapter with more meaning, for example, can be done by an AI.
Right, because if you just do it, it's just going to fill it up. It'll be more general, and that's why I love the things about, having the AI assistant that n- has a baseline of information to keep it, in line so that it writes like you or writes more like a human. Because you do get that general kind of emotionless writing. So, can you talk about how people can tweak their writing to make it write more like an individual, make it like write more like some of the things that I have tested is, and write this like a copywriter with 10 years experience and blah, 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 blah. Can you give us some idea on how prompts work and how to make them better?
Mhm. I mean, we take quite a bit away from it with our customized AI feature already, where you basically define once the background, the values, for example, and some writing style examples where the algorithm then can build up on it, such that whatever later collaboration you have, you basically chat with your virtual twin there. But what does it mean? I oftentimes take an example from how organizations build brand scripts. Yeah, you have the background of the company. You define which type of writing style you want to have. At TextCortex, we clearly say we are an more informal company. Yeah, we are not a formal corporation where everybody needs to speak very professionally. No, we are informal. We want to be educative, and we simply want to create value without having any expectations from whoever consumes our content. And basically, what you try to do is building those prompts step by step by step, adding that information to the model or into our customized AI feature ultimately, and then work around that. Yeah? And this will always think about it is so to say the short-term memory of the AI. By giving that into the short-term memory, you can deal with a lot of the limitations large language models, or so to say the crystalline knowledge base it has, which is from 2021 more or less, or depending on the models. Yeah, it takes quite a while to retrain those models. But to keep them in line, you use the prompt, the short-term memory, to insert more information.
And about how far, because if you're talking with the chat, right, it looks at the previous chat and applies it to what you're doing too. So how many characters back does it typically go?
And it really depends on the models.
Hmm.
The issue is now there's a new model around which says we have 100,000 tokens of window of short-term memory window. I'm not quite sure. I haven't tested it out that fully because 100,000 tokens are 75,000 words, which is quite a long text. And to fully validate whether the AI has not hallucinated anywhere within so much information is a longer task. I think there's a lot of research happening around that model now. I wouldn't trust it at the moment. I know what works rather well is if you have somewhere between 2,000-3,000 words. Yeah, that's where I know that also our users are very happy. I tested it out myself as well. There's research which can basically say, hey, yeah, it keeps information well. You can see with models like GPT-4, the biggest one is what, 32,000 tokens, I believe. And that's around what, 26 to 28,000 words maybe, or 25,000 words. I'm not quite sure about the exact math now. Um, takes takes a lot more time, certainly to compute as well. But also currently, I'm not quite sure how much information is still retained in the short-term memory. But yet again, I would keep it concise. Yeah, ultimately, it's just like if you overload a human with information, they get confused. Yeah, I'm getting confused if you ask me too many questions. If you ask me more than 10 questions, I'm just like, hey, wait, before we go deeper down the rabbit hole of questions, let's first answer the first 5 questions and then we can move on. Because otherwise, the quality of communication will suffer. It's the same thing with AIs.
Hmm. And what do you I know that you guys have all the templates where if whatever you're trying to do, you just click on it and it's already pre kind of designed for you and ready to go, making it easy. Um, this is really kind of a great way for people to just free up their day and start using these tasks to just get things going. I like how we discussed that you have to keep an eye on it. I think people didn't maybe realize that there's a reason that you do words at a certain length because you work at a certain length because otherwise it's unlimited creativity can take it down a rabbit hole versus focus on what you want. And then we have to be more specific when we use it. Um, what is the, um, I was just going to say, what sort of market research can we do that would be effective? Asking about, competitor analysis or to help develop an avatar, a customer avatar or anything like that. Is there, how reliable would it be to ask it to do some stuff like that to give us a baseline to start from?
I mean, from our last conversation, we actually made great progress on our knowledge connectors. So one of our engineers, he's originally from Turkey. He's immigrating to Germany now. And as a passion project and a beta piloting project, he put in the whole German law into, so to say, a knowledge base, uploaded via PDF, and now he uses TextCortex and Zeno basically as a communication layer to talk to that knowledge. This is a feature which will be rolled out in the next month, and I'm very excited to see what happens there because basically what we have developed there is sort of a knowledge search through I'm talking about German law. German law is one of the most complex law systems on this planet. Yeah. That's also why we're known for an exporter of bureaucracy and regulation, more or less. But yeah, he asked questions like, hey, how long do I have to be in Germany before I can apply for a working permit? How long for residency? And it basically took the legal information and made it human understandable. Yeah, not German legal speak, which is a nightmare. I mean, English legal speak is also a nightmare, but makes it much more understanding for the common person. These type of new developments, I mean, we are also not the only one who work on that, to be fully transparent. This could make a very, very great research retainer tool as well. So basically what you put together is maybe one Word, it could be a Word document, it could be a Notion page, it could be just a PDF document, which you upload to TextCortex. And then our system is searching through your knowledge, integrating this into your generation. That's still heavily better. Yeah, I hope that this comes out to the point how we envision it now, and it certainly will be in 1 year from now. Currently, what you're best with is do your research on a separate paper. You would need to do it anyways, and then you start divide and conquering a big problem and basically writing down whatever you want to achieve. If it's a blog post around how to improve profitability in your marketing operations for a franchise, and you have 3 key facts you want to talk about, add those 3 key facts to your prompt.
You talked about 5 reoccurring problems around marketing, sales, and communications that most people are using this for, and I just wanted to check with you. What are those 5 things that are really being used the most?
Mm. Yeah, first, pillar text modification. Yeah, rewrite text. I think you know it. You start writing an email, you start writing a blog post you already mentioned, and you don't fully feel fulfilled with what you've written. Yeah, you can use our rewrite function to rewrite it. You can use the tone changer to make it sound informal, formal, more enthusiastic. That's one of my favorite features because as a German, I'm not usually the most enthusiastic writer. Yeah, so that can help me to make it a little bit more friendly. But also summarization, for example, boiling down heavy corpus of texts, where we already have this. That's where the whole knowledge connector feature has started with us, summarizing a lot of information down, such that it's truthful and you can work with it. That's the second point. Third point, improving your productivity with an AI agent. We talked a lot about it today. Yeah, you can use it for improving your communication in emails. We can see how people love to use it in their communication with colleagues on Slack, on Discord even. You can use it to align, for example, to different writing styles as well. If you know that your customer is more of an analytical communicator, yeah, you can basically also work together with Zeno and saying like, hey, please, my receiver of that message is a very analytical person. How can I improve my writing of my email now such that it fully resonates with that person? Yeah, impersonate somebody else. Translation is also a huge issue. I mean, we are a German company or European company, the continent of any type of language. Yeah, it's very difficult. You just go around 100 to 100 kilometers. You're in a completely different country, speaking a completely different language. I know from my visits to the US, you don't have that problem. Everybody speaks English, maybe a different accent, but somehow it's somewhere similar. But that translation is definitely something where we're helping a lot. The dyslexia and help for neurodiversity. I told you I'm very proud of the problem we are solving there. A lot of people use the text to speech feature there. There will be soon a voice command feature as well, where you can basically just talk out your prompt and whatever you want to do. You don't need to write it down. That comes from your voice. What else am I very proud of in terms of the features we are offering? Yeah, also the templates. I mean, currently we offer, I believe, around 80 default templates. We're currently in the making of increasing that to over 1,000 templates. Takes a little bit more time. Also for you, for the user, there will be a full editor where you can save whatever template you constantly work around, because it gets very tedious at one point if you always ask a ChatGPT or a Zeno Chat, hey, please take the following, rewrite it in a more academic way, and then you copy paste everything in there. If you do that 5 times, always using the same prompt, you want to have a template for it. Similar things also around the customization. Yeah, I have my virtual twin called Dominik Lambersy on Text.Cortex. I feed it with my background, yeah, born and raised on German fund fairs, venture capital, always tech businesses, the 8 values I'm following after, my writing style. And then I also use that persona to, basically answer customer support emails, write also sales emails ultimately, write some content for us around the company, around our narrative, or whatever type of value I want to provide, or a LinkedIn post, for example. That's also a thing.
Right.
And the last point I want to finish on, make a customizable experience out of the very generic AI world we currently have.
Mm-hmm. Are there any last kind of insights that you want to share with everyone today about AI or using Zeno Chat?
I mean, what I can see in a lot of people currently is a lot of doubt, a lot of conspiracy as well. I mean, ultimately, and I had a beautiful slide. Sad that I don't have the slide deck now prepared somewhere around. But we kept on talking that machines can only be as smart and as useful as the human who use it. And that's pretty much also the case. Even with as creative systems we are getting now, they're only as good as the user who's behind it, who thinks about what they want to create. And I really hope that also our educational system is picking up and educating the new generation how to work with it. I mean, you can see already now younger generations who work with Siri to solve their math issues. in the next 5 years, we will all need to adapt to AI collaborators like we did adopt to the personal computer, for example, to all the information we have of our smartphones. Yeah, this will be common now, and the earlier we adopt to it, the more we can flourish. I think that's a good
Right.
word to end.
Instead of just searching with AI, we can now use it to create. We have unlimited creativity. So now it's going to be, it's also going to have to help us sift through all this new creativity that's being thrown out into the world to find what we're looking for.
Absolutely.
Well, I just tell everybody that right here next to the video is a link to TextCortex. I think that if you apply what you learned here today, you use those personas, set those up and use those, and then go in and you'll have that browser extension. You can start using this information to chunk it, make sure that you're clear in your writing style, and take advantage of all the training, the blog posts, and the knowledge base that's here. Because if you just pause for a second, and go through the training and understand it, you'll get an even better result. I mean, I've found that results are great from the beginning, but if I keep tweaking with how I talk to it, I actually get what I really want. And then once I know that, I can use it forever. So I would take advantage of it. Thank you, Dominic. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
And
Lance.
talk to you soon.
It was a pleasure.